What's poppin', everybody? This is Ray Rawlins from the Ray Rawlins Network, where we talk cartoons and we practically do it daily. Today, I'm joined by Alex Payne as usual, and we're doing. Oh well, no, that's a different review. I'm sorry. Fuck. Let's start over. I sure was going.
Well, what was you gonna do? Because
I was gonna do the Danny Phantom review, which
uh,
I guess I still can do it now.
well, I
Fuck it.
mean, what did you even say that would imply any of that, though?
I was gonna say we're changing up. Let's start over. Let's start over.
Uh,
3, 2, 1. What's poppin', everybody? This is Ray Rawlins from the Ray Rawlins Network, where we talk cartoons and we practically do it daily. Today, I'm joined by Alex Payne as we are on day number 21 of the 31 days of the Halloween cartoons marathon, and we're talking about Courage the Cowardly Dog. I was Courage the Cowardly Dog. Courage the Cowardly Dog. And this episode is from season one, the best season of the series, in my opinion, just because Courage talks. And we're talking about the Great Fusilli. Now, as usual, we're going to have our resident Courage the Cowardly Dog expert, Mr. Alex Payne, give us the episode breakdown. So let's talk about it.
well, as much as you hate my simple explanations, this episode really requires it because all this episode is about is a traveling. I guess you can call it a traveling entertainer called the Great Fusilli, and he parks his stage in front of the farm, and he invites Eustace and Muriel on stage with him. And yeah, that's pretty much it, really. I mean, there's nothing more to say than when we get
I
into
mean,
moments.
good
what,
lord, listen.
there's
The
really
next thing
nothing
you
else
can say,
to say
the
about
main
it.
thing you can say is he's trying to lure him into, never leave him with magic and all this crazy shit. I don't know. You could explain it better than me, but
Well, I
man,
mean, I guess that
that's
makes that
such.
stereotype. But that's the basic premise. He brings them on stage, and as you said, he's trying to entrap them with his magic. Yeah, that works. But you can't say nothing more than that without just getting into
Exactly,
talking
but
about the
that
episode.
you just don't leave out the most crucial part of the episode. I mean, come on now, come on. Is that what a reviewer does? Jesus Christ! What type of people does Ray Rollins hire for the Ray Rollins Network? I mean, come on, man.
I
Shit.
ain't
See,
trying. Come
Jesus
on.
fucking Christ,
I
man.
mean,
Listen, I don't know if I want to give my first thoughts of this review recording or my first thoughts of the episode, but I might as well give my first thoughts of the episode. One thing is that really kind of like you said, this episode was pretty basic, but it was something different. I like how they did it though. They had this crazy magician. I call him magician, entertainer, whatever the hell you guys want to call him, trying to entrap Muriel and Eustace and even Courage under his magic so they never leave him or whatever. It's just like I'm not a huge fan of this episode. I really thought there was better. I even say the Dr. Zelost episode was better than this,
mhm,
which I guess. Oh no, we would have already done it at this point, um,
yeah.
because we're recording weeks in advance. But anyway, I gotta say this episode was all right. It wasn't terrible. Um, but
No courage
huh?
episode is.
Know what?
No, I said no courage episode. No episode of Courage really is terrible.
No, yeah, absolutely. But it was pretty decent. It was definitely pretty decent.
Yeah.
What about you? What are your first thoughts?
My first thoughts is, well, it's a Courage episode, so you gotta say it. Music was great. I
Ooh,
know.
that's something I definitely wanted to talk about.
Honestly, I never thought I would enjoy. Police. I never thought I would enjoy the sound of an accordion so much. Like, I feel like the accordion. That honestly, that made me feel like listening to accordion music and putting accordion music in videos.
I don't know about that, but I will tell you one thing because I watched the Little Muriel episode too that was connected to this. Like, I finally
Yeah.
really noticed how you said music changes each episode. Like, no, and I'm kind of disappointed. If there's anything I'll take off a point for, it's probably that I didn't hear the Panic song in either of them. I love that. I fucking love that song, bro. I'm not even gonna lie
Well,
to you. That shit's
I
engraved in my head.
I could understand why it ain't in the first one because there's no room for it. Because I mean, there's no real panic in the Little Muriel episode.
Say when that
Because
tornado's coming.
well, yeah. But it wasn't like running any. Well, I don't know. I guess that could be debated. I
But
mean,
the
just as
music,
a
the music.
side note,
Go ahead.
just as a little side note, that I feel like that episode is hilarious to me. Though. And I feel like that's the most courage ever talked any episode. Or
Yeah,
Eustace,
you're right.
man.
You're right. And poor Eustace too. But I gotta say though, with the
He
music,
got bitch
with
slapped
the
in that jail. Sorry, continue.
with this episode though, and even in comparison to the Little Muriel one, it's just like the music is all, I want to say European sounding. It's ethnic, I suppose. It doesn't sound like no music from America. I don't know if I'm that makes any sense, but it
Well,
kind of sounds. It doesn't sound like
The
it's
Muriel
like
one
she's
makes sense
German,
because
right?
no, she's Scottish, so that
Oh,
one
for real?
makes
Oh,
sense.
okay. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know what I would say I honestly don't know what I would say the Great Fusilli music sound.
I really want to say
I don't
Italian
know.
because I'm thinking Fusilli. That sounds like some Italian, and I don't know. It just has
Actually, you
that
know what?
sound
You
to
might
it to
be
me.
right.
I think I'm
You
spot
might be
on with
right,
that one.
actually. Yeah, I think so
That's the
too.
big thing, and when obviously Little Muriel's not being reviewed as the Great Fusilli, but just
Yeah,
because they're connected, that's one thing I definitely want to mention. You brought it up is the music. It sounded very different than any Courage episode that we've watched and reviewed up to this point.
I
So, which
think
is pretty cool, honestly.
I think as a little bit of trivia, if I remember correctly, I think they said they had like over 1,000 different music scores all together, or some shit
Holy
like that,
shit.
like original music scores. Because a lot of people like a lot of shows use stock music and music that's from like a big giant database. Like a lot of the music, 90% of it they made their own.
Right, right. Let's get on to the moments part of the episode. What do you think are some of the good moments from this episode?
Well, I mean, this one's kind of little, but I thought it was just really funny when friggin' the Great Fusilli friggin', it's like, ladies and gentlemen, and then it just cuts to nobody standing there. Like, that was funny to me. I don't know why.
Yo,
And
it's kind of like when I do the introduction for the videos, man. I'm talking to nobody.
but ano-
Oh shit.
but I would say the funniest thing to me out of this entire episode is after he first turns them into puppet and he friggin' absolutely beating the fuck out of Eustace with the friggin' with the Muriel puppet with the friggin' rolling pin just pop 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 beating the dog fuck out of it.
I like the part where Courage and them are on the stage, and you, the one thing I really noticed with this episode, man, especially like Courage just gets fucking spooked by the simple, and I know it's called the Carly dog. That's the gimmick, obviously. But it's just like,
Mhm.
damn, he's such a pussy. All you just gotta do is make a little scary face and shit and send this motherfucker boom, running.
But
Running.
but the thing is like, and the thing that most people mention when it comes to this episode is the scene when Courage finds all the friggin' unnecessarily realistic and creepy ass looking doll puppets in the room.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, but the thing is, because you said like it's an average episode, I feel like, and I guess we're gonna get into like the one of the main reasons I even let this be the last episode we review is like I feel like this episode is infamous, even though that's the wrong word because that implies something bad, but it's more for the ending than anything, because the whole point of Courage is him trying to save his family, and in this episode he doesn't. They are literally dead at the end, and he has to act
Mm.
them, and he has to be the puppeteer and actually like pretend like his life is real. I guess if that makes any sense, because both of them are gone, and he uses them puppets. Like he even uses Eustace, grab the thing, do the face, then he gets up, runs over, hops in Muriel's lap, and then just starts screaming. So it's like,
Mmm.
and the funny thing is, because this was the final episode of the first season, they didn't know if they was gonna have any more seasons or not yet. So if they would have been the very last, this would have been the last
Oh.
episode of the show.
Oh, mind fucking blown. Yo, that's crazy. You know what? And you know what? Obviously, well, we're doing this in 2019. Everybody
Hmm.
knows there's like fucking 4 seasons and shit. So, and I did not know that. Like I said, you're the professional of Courage the
Yep.
Cowardly Dog. So I didn't know none of this shit. I did not know none of this shit. And I think it's pretty dope how you just pointed that shit out. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna have this as a final episode. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. I that's pretty damn dope. That's pretty damn dope. And you're right. Like Courage always ends up saving him, and this time he couldn't.
Yep.
Wow, that's crazy.
And he just,
That's fucking crazy.
uses the strings and uses them as puppets to try to act out a normal life. It's just funny because some people try to make the claim that all of the seasons after that, it's pretty much just like Courage controlling the puppets. So it's like none of it is really real, and he's just trying to continue a normal life. I think that's a bit of a
That's not.
stretch, but you
That's
know,
definitely a bit of a stretch. Which one was King Ramsey in?
that was
That was
season one.
season one.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. But the house, what the
the
fuck was
House
that
of
called?
Discontent.
Yeah, no, not that one. I mean that one too, but the really good one, I forgot the
The
name of it.
Mask.
Oh, the mask. Yeah, that one. Yeah, there's no way in hell he could have been controlling them in that one.
Yeah.
Obviously. So, cartoon logic, everybody knows once the episode ends, it gets back to normal, and as soon as this new season starts,
Mhm.
somehow they're not puppets anymore. We just don't ask questions, we just watch, right? You gotta suspend that disbelief.
But that's
Hey,
the
you're
thing
puppets
too,
last
though.
episode, but you're normal now.
Because that's the thing too, though, and that's one thing with Courage. I mean, it mostly happens with Eustace, but because the whole idea of a cartoon is everything will be fine at the end, but 90% of the time things aren't fine at the end. Like
You're right.
something happened to someone.
Right.
Even if just the whole house destroyed, something happened to someone.
Right.
And it's like, but like I said, this one, especially considering that this could have just as easily been the very last episode, makes the
Hmm.
ending very, I guess, chilling. I mean, it's very chilling in general because he's pretty much acting out his family because they're dead. But
Right.
what I'm
I
saying is,
don't know. I think it's all interesting. Go ahead. Go ahead. Finish. I didn't know you were gonna continue, but go ahead.
no, I just want, but what I was ultimately saying was, I feel like the episode in general. Now, granted, again, it's still a Courage episode, so there's obviously good moments. The voice actor for the Great Fusilli did an amazing job, in my opinion.
Oh hell yeah.
The it had it had some really good moments, and I think like the whole, because I really think they was going for the idea of trying to figure out what his motives was and what he was going to do. I think that's what their whole thing was. So I feel
Hmm.
like that's how come it had a very slow beginning, I
Yeah.
guess.
To
But
be honest with you, I still don't know what the main thing he really like. What did he want to have the puppets for?
I
I
think just
don't.
to have as like, I guess his puppets forever. I guess I don't know. Maybe
Hmm.
I don't know. I guess you could say they haven't figured out what they didn't really say what he wanted with them, other than to turn them into puppets. But no, but what I'm saying is, I think it's a pretty decent episode, but the ending is what makes it memorable for them,
Oh hell,
everyone
fucking
that.
yeah. Listen, just that ending alone, I think probably drove it up just my rating up. Actually, yeah, a little bit. It definitely drew my rating up. But let's get into final reviews. I gotta say, like I said, overall it was a pretty average episode. But the simple fact, and obviously it's a spoiler. And I know how you are with spoilers, obviously, but you already gave it away. That Courage isn't able to save his family, which is kind of a disappointing thing. But as you said, he tried to learn how to control the puppets, and he's trying to go on live a regular life, controlling them like they're actually still alive. Da da da. Whoop whoop whoop. But the main thing is, like you said, and you just pointed out, and I didn't know this, but you just pointed out that this was, in a sense, gonna be the last episode. And for
Hmm.
an ending, not too many cartoons can make a sad ending, you know, go off in a, I guess, happy fashion. Would that be correct? I'm not sure. They made it a sad, disappointing ending where, you lose your family members, but fuck it, I'm still gonna go on. I'm still gonna try to live a happy life with them. They found a good middle ground,
Hmm.
if that makes sense.
You mean like
So
they were going for the idea that you can move on no matter what happens?
there you go. Yeah, yeah. And that alone, like, it's hard to pull that off. It's very hard to pull that off and not have it feel like a sad moment, to be
That's the
honest
thing,
with you.
because
So,
um, see, they wouldn't have fit because of the criteria of Halloween. But you think these episodes are sad, deep, and emotional? You should see the actual finale, like the last two episodes. Like,
oh
man,
man, oh yo, after we're done with this whole marathon, I'm gonna fucking watch the whole season, this whole series of Courage. That's a done deal. I'm gonna watch
because
that.
I'll just give you this. What the one of the episodes is pretty much
I
about
don't.
Courage's origin
Uh,
story. It's not
yeah,
that's not a spoiler.
I know.
It's its
I know, but
origin story.
you did tell me, what happens in it. It's kind of sad. But let me get my final review. All in all, I gotta say, average episode, but like you said, the ending is what makes it memorable. So I'm gonna hit it with maybe a 7.5. 7.5. What about you?
Um, I see. I really wanna give it an 8 because of like the emotional depth of the end, and plus like again overall I think the plot probably was a little slow, but overall like the voice acting was really great. Oh, I forgot to mention this. I'm just noticing it was hilarious when Muriel said the shit, and then Great Fusilli said to Eustace, "Didn't she do great?" And he's just like, "Nope." But
Oh, yo, I don't even remember that. I
but
really don't, if I'm being honest with you.
But no, I think I'm gonna have to give it a 7.5, just like you did, purely because like there's
Oh,
so
okay.
many other episodes that have. Because I guess this episode is built. The core main thing of it is two moments: the when Courage finds the puppets, and at the end when Courage is controlling the Muriel and Eustace puppets.
Hmm.
So, because like a story like an episode like The Masks, for example, like that entire episode is full of just everything. It isn't just made up of two scenes, I guess.
Right.
So that's why I'm gonna have to give this one a 7.5.
All right. Well, there you have it. Ray Rawlins, 7.5, and Alex Payne, 7.5. And that concludes today's review of Courage the Cowardly Dog, the Great Fusilli from season 1. This is the Ray Rollins Network, where we talk cartoons and we damn near do it daily. My name is Ray Rollins. He is Alex Payne. We will see you when this cartoon marathon continues. Peace.